targeting, which is something that we teach every BV3 about targeting, and we do some targeting at the shelter, but we don't usually kind of explore the topic of targeting to its breadth. Like, there are so many things you can do with targeting. So like just for like 2 minutes, let's just kind of think about the things that we see where we use targeting at the shelter, or maybe you've seen somewhere where somebody's used targeting. I just want to know what you guys think of when you think of targeting.
Well, I definitely think of touch and targeting, and especially how helpful it is along walks.
Okay, so hand targeting, right? Mm-hmm. That's my number one thing too that I think of. Do you guys have any other things that you think of when you think of targeting?
Well, like your place, like you're working on with.
Yeah, Julio. I mean, he knows that he's hot, so he's not going to go there. We just came in from outside.
Yeah.
But oh, yay, good job. He's like, you know what? I'll show you. Yeah. Anything else you guys think of?
Party pen.
I know. He's like,
I guess the matching the sample game that we talked about the other day.
What part of it?
The part where we show the object like a real toy, and he's supposed to target the one that's along the floor somewhere amidst.
Right. Like, matching to sample can include targeting, because it can include like, touching something with the nose or indicating it by touching it. In some way.
I'm not sure what y'all are teaching, but I know there's one where you have a stick and like a ball on the end, and you want them to touch those, but I can't remember what that we're teaching when we do that.
Stick targeting. So that's more of a tool, and we'll talk about it today. And another really common kind of targeting is when people teach their dog to give paw, right? Because they're targeting with their paw. But then, like when you're teaching a new behavior, what was the last time that you used targeting to teach a new behavior?
I just attempted to do side saddle with Stella this morning, just to see, like, the very beginning. And she, in order to get her to come around this way, there was hand targeting.
Right, like if you're gonna, but when was the last time you started something new? Because I know that she knew that already before.
Oh, she did? I didn't know that.
Yeah, like she's known, like, getting into that position. Yeah, so like when was the last time that you, when was the last time that you started something with targeting? You guys started anything? Like, I think I would say for myself, but he doesn't want to go there. For myself, it's very rare that the first thing I think of is to use a target. Right? So, and I think this is just because it's a weakness of mine. So I want to show you a video. I didn't make a PowerPoint because my computer died at home. So I'm going to just show you a video that Ken Ramirez made, and it's about targeting in general. I love Ken Ramirez's videos like this because I just love the way he speaks. It's so clear, and he demonstrates a few forms of targeting. And what I want you to do is I want you to think about like different aspects of targeting that we can use for training. Like, what are the different so for example, targeting with the nose, we can use to get the dog into different positions. But what are different aspects of targeting that he demonstrates? And we'll talk about them and flush them out in this today in our talk. Okay, so you're just looking for different kinds of targeting, because usually when we think of targeting, we only think of touching with the nose. Okay, so now I have to do the share screen, and then this. Okay.
What follows is a brief introduction to the many types of targeting an animal should learn. A key tool for any trainer is knowing how to use the target. Targeting often begins with teaching the animal to experienced trainer must understand how to use the tool in all its forms. With creative use of a target, a trainer can guide the animal into new positions and train new behaviors. The target is a helpful aid that can be used in many different ways. It is important that the animal is able to recognize different types of targets and still understand what is expected. Another key targeting concept is being able to follow a target, wherever it may be placed or however it may be used. Once the animal has learned a behavior, the target does not have to be a part of the finished task. The target can be faded to a simple hand signal or even a more complex body cue. It is helpful if the animal also understands that he may be asked to target different body parts to something, like this dog's rump to the small rug. A concept like this can be useful in many situations and help guide your dog wherever you want him to be when in different situations or new locations. It is valuable to be able to combine concepts, two targets at once, or a different body part, and or extended targeting to create new and useful behaviors. Extended targeting is an important concept that can help facilitate many medical behaviors. Finally, teaching your animal to move from point A to point B and transfer his attention from one trainer or target to another will help with a variety of training tasks. Once a trainer and animal have mastered all the different targeting concepts, you train more easily and more quickly. Targeting is such an important foundational tool. It's helpful for all trainers to recognize the scope and variety of ways that it can be used.
All right. How do I stop this? There we go. Stop. Stop. Okay. So now. Okay, so what did you guys, if you guys, did you guys hear it okay? It's like a little quiet in here.
Yes,
Okay,
I could hear it.
What are some different types of, what are some different types of targeting that you guys saw that were just different from what you usually think of when you think of targeting?
Well, the A to B, if we're simple, I call it the moving target, which I was going to ask you, what's the difference between that and luring?
Yeah. So yeah, let's flush them all out first, and then we'll talk about them individually. So sending a dog from A to B, that's a good one, right? And that's for me what I often think of when I think of targeting, like trying to send Julio to the mat is one of the things that is an obvious way of using targeting. But I've also done when fearful dogs were kind of like towards the end of their like getting used to strangers, and I would teach them to go say hi. So they would go and like ask for pets. So we would send them remotely to another person. And they use that a lot with Ken Ramirez does a lot of like marine mammal training, so they do that a lot with dolphins. Like they send them off to another trainer or somewhere else. It can also be used. So I wanna show you guys something today, an exercise where, so when we're doing stranger rituals with fearful dogs, we teach the dogs automatic behaviors. We call them coping behaviors that they can do that take the place of the fear-related behaviors. So we typically use sits or auto downs, or like I've seen dogs do roll over. He's ignoring the treat there. I've seen people do roll over. They like say howdy, like they wave. We focus on contact-free behaviors. So for the most part, they're going to do behaviors where they don't have to touch the person. And one really cool behavior, we often use regular targeting, like touching objects or going to a mat, but we can also teach dogs automatically to back up, right? So that they can control their proximity to the person. I use back up all the time with Gus, but I didn't teach him, definitely ignoring the trees. I didn't teach Gus with a target. So we're going to do that today. We're going to teach Julio, hopefully, if he cooperates, to target something with his back feet and then be able to move away. So what other uses or whatever kinds of targeting did you see in the video? So there was following the stick and or following targeting. Yeah. So that's basically using your target as a lure, but the only difference is that your fist or your stick, whatever you use as a lure, is not quite as salient to the dog, so it's easier to fade than treats. The other thing is I use it with cats a lot because many cats can be really mouthy, and some dogs can be too. So if they associate your hand with treats, they might put their mouth on them. And there's a reason that in kitten kindergarten we had Band-Aids in kitten kindergarten because people were using lures and their fingers were getting bitten up. So for many cats, we teach them a targeting stick and we teach them to follow it instead of using a lure in your hand because it gets risky. Okay, something else, anything else that you saw there?
It was cool that they were using the mat to in different places, including going into that small
Sure.
space.
Yeah, you can use placement of mats to get them to go somewhere. What I'm really interested in is getting dogs to target, or cats to, unusual parts of their bodies to things. So now, can you think of situations at the shelter where you've used that before?
The husbandry training.
Yeah, exactly. So what specifically do we teach?
The side, I don't know, where they bring their hind, like the hips over, swing them over into your legs.
Yeah.
Putting their head on your lap.
Yeah.
What else? Reggie coming through between your legs to do the blood draw.
Yeah, so he like chin rests. We teach chin resting on a variety of surfaces, including our hands. Yes, there's the hind quarter awareness exercise where they like pivot around a mat. So hopefully we can do this with Julio today. And the first stage of that includes a lot of targeting. So whenever you want to control the position of a dog, you can use targeting. You can have them target with their front paws, which is one of the traditional ways of targeting, but you can have them target with their back paws. And one really cool use of targeting with a paw is that you can teach dogs how to file their own nails by doing that. So here's a cool video that shows that exercise. You want to just stationing time? Let's see if I can do this. Okay. Oh, here's another video, actually. It's I'm going to just fast forward it so you don't have to watch the whole thing, but it's about shoulder targeting. And people use targeting to different parts of the body, especially not just for husbandry, because we always think about that, because for us that's very practical, but people use it for like obedience training when they need the dog to be like in a very particular position, like standing very straight parallel with the person. So here's something that you would use for healing, like an advanced heel, is the shoulder target. So let me see if I can. So I just kind of fast forwarded it from the beginning, but I'll post this video so you can see. So in body targeting, they usually use, there's two methods they usually use for body targeting. It's shaping, but this lady uses molding. So she just touches this dog's shoulder many, many times, and then she starts holding her hand a little bit away, and then the dog starts anticipating, you know, when she doesn't touch her shoulder, she moves into the shoulder. So here we go, there. So what that does is it has the dog orient the shoulder to where she wants when she wants the dog to heel. And then, so So that's that. Come on. And then, and likewise, when we do the hindquarter awareness, when we teach the pivot, obedience trainers will use that type of training to get the dog's rear end to be perfectly straight, like facing the exact same way that the handler is. So that matters a lot for obedience trainers. Let's look at that here, nail trims. So here's a front nail trim. If I can get this computer to work. It's our like old behavior laptop.
While the world stands still,
commercials.
we keep moving. We get fitter, faster, a bit closer. We teach something, learn something.
Okay, I'm just gonna fast forward this
today we're gonna start working with a scratch board. So we've been looking at some nail trimming. So especially since she likes this a lot, I definitely want to be checking her nails periodically.
So that's basically what that looks like. It's pretty cool.
Let me see.
So she checks her to make sure she doesn't overfile.
Because you can definitely, your dogs can take off a lot with this, a surprising amount. So don't just assume that they will stop. Most of them will stop if it starts to hurt, but don't just assume.
That's pretty cool, huh?
And you can start to withhold the clicks, so you get more behavior.
I'll post the video. I'll post the whole video because she shows how to do it from step 1, and it's a very simple process. So it's something that we could all do. So if you're, you know, I think it helps for 2 reasons. For dogs who are really afraid of their feet being handled, but also a lot of people are afraid of cutting their dog's nails because, you know, they're afraid of cutting the quick, right? So, and I think this is the back one. I think this is it. I don't think so. It's like a Rottweiler. Let me see. If I can't find it, it's okay. It's not like, but I think it's actually super cool. It's a super cool thing when she does the back one. Anyway, let's get on to training Julio anyway. So what we're gonna do today is we're gonna train, the other thing that I forgot to mention in Ken Ramirez's video is he talks about training duration, right? So that is very important. We teach duration in our chin rests because we can't have them just touch, you know, like if we're gonna have Julio rest his chin there on the chair, like you can see we're gonna do that later, and we're gonna do a blood draw or give him a shot, we want him to hold still when he does that. So we're gonna do chin rest on a hand. We're gonna do chin rest on a chair. We're gonna teach him to target with his back feet to back up. And those are my priorities. We'll see where we are after that. And we can talk about using a target stick and why you would use a target stick to do stuff too. Okay, so let's talk about chin rest in a hand first. So what this talks about, what this addresses is targeting with other parts of the body and how to do it. Why would you want to teach a chin rest? The chin rest is super for husbandry, but it's also kind of your hand. So what it is we're going to teach Julio to just rest his chin in my hand, and your hand kind of acts as a portable relaxation mat. So let's say that we took Julio on a field trip somewhere and we're just having a great time, and then he gets super focused on, I don't know, it's Julio, so it could be anything, on a puddle or like a storm drain or whatever. So this is like your portable relaxation mat, and we can teach him to associate this with feeling relaxed, but in a standing position where he's not gonna need to lie down, but we can teach him to do that. And I don't know if we'll get very far with this. I'll show you the initial first steps, and then I'll post you a really great Kiko Cut video about how to get them to relax their muscles and relax their bodies while you're holding their chin. It's also, if you can get him to do a chin rest in duration, then you can get him to, go anywhere. You can get him to follow your chin rest into a variety of positions. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have one hand with treats and one hand's going to be clean. So I want him to chin rest in my left hand. And hopefully he's not too full. So I want him to be here on my left side, and I want him to be just standing. So for many dogs, let me actually just show you the first step. Is for many dogs, they're not going to feel comfortable. I think that when the dog does it too well right in the beginning, they're not going to be necessarily comfortable with your hand coming near their face. So sometimes you're just going to be, can you see me? Sometimes you're going to be just reaching for them and conditioning your hand, reaching out to them like that. But luckily he's had, oh gosh, he's doing it too quick. I hate that. I don't think we do this with him, but maybe somebody does. I want to say that he has some chin awareness because we taught him to chin on other things, like our laps. Yes, and that makes a difference, right? Like if we want to teach anything with the hindquarters, we would teach hindquarter awareness, and that would help them be able to So initially, the first step is counter condition your hand being extended. So just show your hand, give them a treat. Show your hand, give them a treat. The next step is show your hand, yes, and any kind of contact gets a treat. He just happens to do it. He just happens to do it right away. I did not start him with this before that. Do you guys work on him with this?
No.
Yes.
But I can see how it might be beneficial, like you said.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. So when you work on duration, you want to, so right away, I'm in the beginning, just marking and rewarding right away as soon as he touches my hand. But when I saw that he did it, he was very fluent in that behavior, I would start to, just hesitate, like half a second or so before I say yes. So I think that's where he is now for me. So I'm gonna go ahead and let Emery and Olivia try it. So, yes. So basically I'm just hesitating, yes. I'm holding my hand out like this, yes, and waiting before I say yes. And the key when you're increasing duration is, yes. See, I want his face to be in my palm. The key is you're going to increase it. Before I say, do you guys know like what the key is to increasing duration? Like you see it for anything like sit or down or anything. Yes. Do you guys know?
Well, I guess focusing on one thing at a time. Like if we're working on duration, we're working on duration.
Yeah, for sure. Exactly. So what Olivia said is that you're going to focus just on duration. So you're not going to, like, I'm not going to take him out there where the clinic's going on and have him chin rest in my hand out there. For sure. So I'm not going to work on a, yes, good job. I'm not going to work on a distraction heavy environment. And the other thing is, I'm not gonna like sit here with my hand. This is very common, even though it sounds ridiculous. I'm not gonna just, wait here I'm not gonna make him chin rest for 10 seconds, right? I'm gonna have very realistic expectations because what would happen if I did that?
Frustration.
Yes, he would get frustrated. And then maybe he wouldn't want to do it anymore. What other things do you think about doing when you're increasing duration?
Something I'm always, I feel like I'm always struggling with because I I still, and something I'm always catching myself with.
I said I would let you do it. Yeah, I'm listening.
Which is making sure that the
No,
position.
I just really see.
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, look. I'm so sorry.
No, it's okay.
I had no idea.
I probably go first.
I really couldn't see. Sorry. Here, I'll show you. So basically, I'm having him come in from my left side because I want him to rest on my left hand. And I'm holding I'm holding my hand out. And when he puts his chin in my hand, I just wait a moment and then yes. So in the beginning, I would have reinforced that behavior right away. Good. And also, I'm trying really hard to put my hand out first and let him come to it. Yes. Okay. Okay, what were you saying?
Well, I was saying that it's something that I'm always trying to catch myself on, positioning, not just of him, but of myself too, like trying to keep it consistent.
Yeah. True, but like just working on duration, you don't want to keep on. You don't want to keep on increasing the duration over and over and over. You know, like you don't want to be like, okay, 1 second, 2 seconds, 3 seconds, 4 seconds, because that can also be really frustrating. But instead, you want to ping pong it, right? Do you guys know what ping ponging means?
I'm assuming it means do it for a short, like a second, then do it for 3, then go it back to 1.
Yeah, so that he can never predict when he's going to get that yes. So he'll just hold it until he can, like you're basically going to increase your average duration. And I think at this point, it's okay to do it when he's lying down, but also do it sometimes standing up, sometimes do it sitting.
Using your hand, will you treat or do you take your hand?
I feed him on my head. Yeah, also for duration behaviors, if possible, treat in place all the time. So even if you were doing a sit stay or a down stay, or if you were training him to, I don't know, lie on his side, lateral recumbency, you want to feed in place if possible. That's why it's so hard to teach long hand targets, right? When you think about it, and we want the dog to touch their nose to our hand, it's hard to feed in place. So that's a challenge when you do that. That's one of the unfortunate barriers in duration targeting with the nose, because it's hard for them to be treated in place. Oh, so just be a little careful because he was moving, and you know how Julio is. Like he might superstitiously decide, oh well, I've got to lick my lips every time. Okay, if you don't mind, I'm going to go on to the next step, and then I'll let Olivia have a try because I want to go fast. That's why I picked Julio, because I was hoping that he would move fast. And we're going to be stingy with our treats, because I need like 1 cup of kibble, so I just want to give him too much food. So this is what we're doing now. Yes. Did I drop something?
Just one.
I'm giving him just 1 kibble every time. Yes. Okay, so now that he's holding it there, yes, I'm going to start moving my hand just very slightly. So this is when we get to the relaxation bit. Yes. So in the beginning, there's going to be a bit of resistance, and his neck's going to be a bit tight, because it's like, what are you doing? Yes. And we may not get past this, but eventually, yeah, good job. Eventually, you'll get to a point where he'll just kind of be super relaxed and he'll follow your hand. So he'll start to associate this trick with relaxing his muscles. Like we can do that, but even as humans, I think it's quite hard for us, that skill of just relaxing ourselves. So this will help relieve tension in his neck and shoulders if he's out and he does get really aroused about something. See? I should have rewarded him really soon for that because that was hard for him. Do you want to try it?
Sure.
Oh, sorry. I have to remember to turn around for a minute.
I just wanted to clarify what the difference is of what we're trying to do right now. Like, we're trying to scale up now.
I mean, ideally, some generalization will have happened this year. This is not real training. This is training for people, not for men. But ideally, you would have done it sitting, standing, on either side. It can be hard, right? Like, it can be really hard. But right now, we're not doing all the generalization.
And are we only treating when he's still, he's like, doesn't he like inch forward on your
It's true,
knee?
we do. Yeah, we do want him to be still. And I'm trying to keep my hands away, like my tweets away from his face. I can even do it like this. Good job. I'm going to get him from the treat station. Good. Nice. That was amazing. Training Julio is so addictive.
And when you moving your hands and you follow, okay.
Yeah. Let's see. Yes. Good job.
So this is the step that we
The step we're on is really just moving his neck side to side, like for him to feel like we're gonna be rewarding the softness.
Okay.
Not so much like movement, yes, but the softness comes with it because he'll just learn to follow you.
Okay.
Right?
Got it. I get that now. Yeah, I didn't get it at first.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Do you want to try?
Should I start towards the beginning though, so that since he can sometimes be interesting about a new person doing it?
We can let's see where he's at.
I'm also left-handed, but I can try my right hand for starters.
There you go.
Is it
And
okay
try to
that
keep-
he's moving with?
Try to keep your street hand okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're not really luring him at this point.
That was really good, that one. The other two, I think I was.
Yeah. Try to do it so they can see. Do it towards the computer. And are you feeling like the weight of his head?
Not as much as I thought it would.
Yeah, so you should really feel that too. So that's a sign that he's just trusting you. Yeah.
Okay.
He's trusting you and he wants to kind of go with your hand and run with it.
Gotcha.
And that kind of trains the relaxation.
Yeah, that definitely makes sense. Should I?
Does this sound weird to you guys? Do you guys have any thoughts?
Should I try again? I don't want to take all the food.
Yeah. Go ahead and try it. Yes, Sam? No. Anybody have questions about that? So that's basically that. I think it's a super exercise for somebody like Julio. You can just do it when you're walking. You can do it when you're walking on the street. Let me see if I can actually do it. Do you mind if I just start? For sure. I wonder if I'll do it, because this is going to be hard. Over there. I'm on this side. See, this is going to be hard. So this is going to take a little bit more generalization. Yes, good job. Oh, maybe like this. Yes, good. Yeah, very nice. Yes, good job. You're just following me. It's excellent. I didn't even have any treats in my hand that time. Oh my God, this is mine. All right. So let's transfer this chin rest to the chair. So this should be easy. He already knows this, but I'll walk you through it. Can you guys see the chair okay? I have to
Yes.
get to the wall. Yeah?
Yes.
Okay. So in the same way, I'm going to use luring to get him to put his chin on the chair, and I put some towels on it so that it's comfortable. And I'm getting him to come in straight on. Chair left. Yeah, now it's on your right. Yeah. All right, you kind of say everything is good. So I want him to approach straight on, and I'm going to lure him. Now, for a blood draw, I want him to be in the middle. I'm trying to remember what, like if we lured him, or if we just have to deceive it.
It's not like a weird one to catch.
I think we have the bucket on the other side, and yeah, at least
I mean, I think we definitely trained this before we started doing the bucket.
yeah.
Okay, so in this case, I'm pretty sure I lured him to do that. This is something that he won't know. So basically, you'll just use your treat lure, and whenever it's the same way that you touch the red thing with your hand, except, the way he's doing it so funny, it's awkward. Oh, push it. So then you can put your bucket there. Yeah. And then you can feed him like that. I have to put the chair up against the wall so you're going to push it. Yeah. So this is how you would do your bucket game for like anything that you needed him to sit for. Good job. So I'm watching for him to make eye contact with the wall. And you can't see that I'm doing this to him. I'll give him the other side so you see that way. Okay.
I can always get on the call and show you every other ankle.
I want him to sit closer. There, very nice. Oh, that's great. Wow. You want to do this now? I'll take out the way. I just no, sorry. Can you guys see anything? I see his eyebrows. So he's still looking at the bucket. I'm just gonna touch down his foot. This could be like great for, I mean, could be great for anything. Like I could give him shots like that. Or here. I can, like if you saw in the Ken Ramirez video, he like looks at the dog's teeth, which, no, it hasn't been doing that. We can do touchies like with Lulu and here. Very nice. Oh, clean. All right, I'm going to go over his feet again. Good job. Okay. So you guys know this because he does this before. I think we're going to need more videos of starting from scratch. Good job. Excellent. So this would be a good way of drawing his blood if you were just one person. Right, like if I was, or for whatever reason he needs fluids. Oh, sure. I mean, this is good for anything. Believe me, like I know Julio for a long time, and he did not have this before. He was kind of he was the type of dog that you would use to towel on. I don't know. Oh, okay, she's all right, let's move on. Okay, so let's talk about the hindquarter awareness exercise. So what hindquarter awareness is, it's basically teaching dogs, or maybe we'll just ignore him. So So it's basically teaching a dog to know what their hind ends are doing because frequently dogs have no clue. Like the hind ends just kind of follow what the front ends are doing. And it's something that you would have to teach a dog in order to get performance behaviors like, let's see, like, just one second. One, like, so for example, one example is, like if you wanted a dog to be able to do, like, you guys ever watch Canine Freestyle? There's a movement where the dog kind of comes and turns and walks backwards between the legs. Something like that. The dog definitely has to know what their hind legs are doing. Or for doing a weave, to get a really solid weave, you might need your dog to know what the back end is doing. I'm like dying from my math. All right, so one of the exercises where we teach hindquarters awareness is by using this a pivot requirement. So I made this one out of a foraging toy. It's just the base of the foraging toy, which has non-skid feet on it, and I put a piece of yoga mat on it, nice and cushy. And he's never seen this, so he wants to eat it right away. Okay. So we use hindquarter awareness for situations where we need protected contact exercises with the dog. So I taught Julio hindquarter awareness so that he could basically do this. Let me turn you guys a little bit. So we had our kennel here, and we used the side of the kennel as a barrier. And Julio was outside of the barrier, and he would press his butt to his side with his flank up against the carrier, so that Aaron, who was inside the kennel, would give him a vaccination. I'm sure we could do it with him inside the kennel, but it just seems so much easier to do it with him outside of the kennel. I have a video of that too. I can probably post it. All right, so this is how we taught. This is how we taught it from the beginning. So it's been a long time since we've done it, so I don't have to wonder at all. Yeah. All right. So I'm going to put this thing down. And one like critical rule about targeting, do you guys remember it? You know, if you only put it down, only put your target down when you're ready to train. Right? So I'm not just going to leave it because I want to take advantage of the novelty. All right. So I'm going to put this down, and the first criteria is get him to stand with his feet touching the target.
Can it be any feet or the ones that you want? In this case, only the back.
No, I actually just want his front.
Okay, so would you do only more of the front feet at the beginning? Okay.
Right, and it could be just one foot. Very tiny. Yes. Oh, good, just one toe. I got one toe. So again, I want him to come in from. Yes, good job. I want him to come in from front. I should have given it to him. He just scratched it with his nails. This is good because it's like starting from scratch. Yeah. I should have started with a bigger target. Maybe get me a bathroom mat. Yes, good job. Good. Okay. No, because it doesn't quite fold right. I had to do something to this one, and I want this one to be really different too. I thought that you could do it. Yes, good job. Oh, you did it. Good job. Good.
As soon as you left.
Good. I know. You waited till you left. He's like, I think he'll do it now. Okay. you guys see that his feet are on the thing? Over there, Diane?
I'm sorry?
Can you see what he's doing? Because I can't really tell. Okay, good.
I'm having a little trouble hearing, but I can see.
You're having trouble hearing? Oh, yes. So basically, what I want is for at least 1 foot to touch the, yes. Oh, good job. Good job. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I can put this here so it's closer. Yes. Oh, he's getting it. That's so cool. Okay, I'm definitely in the right job because I get excited about every single thing, even though I've done it so many times. Yes. Yeah, there you go. Okay, so pretend that I've done this many times. The next step is, actually, before I go on to the next step, you guys, yes, you want to try? Yay!
Julio's going to weigh 300 pounds.
No, I've been giving him a lot less than I usually do, so it's just 1 cup of kibble. Did you want to try first? Yes.
But Melissa's having a lot of fun, so.
I am, and I'm trying to get him to do the cheeky.
Yeah.
Okay.
Does anybody else want to try this? Keeps going.
I always do that. I always do that. All right. I think maybe you guys, you want to do it, and I'll go get a little bit more.
I have some stuff here.
Okay, I'll put it in.
It's a cheesy.
Okay, now he'll weigh 100 pounds. I'm trying to give him just 1 kibble every time. We only got 1 more thing to do. So, of course, if you want to be really strict about it, we would pick this up.
Okay.
And would you pick it up anytime there's a lull when you're changing hands or because you're changing?
It's any time when you're not training.
Okay.
Yeah, because you, yes! Oh my God, he did it!
Oh, I was trying to set him up.
Good job, buddy.
Is that now?
Okay. He did it perfect just as soon as he put it down.
Yeah. Yes. There you go.
But you know
Well,
how he
he's
is
like
next.
stepping over the
Oh
side.
yeah.
Is
You know
that-
how he is, because he'll be like, oh, well, Olivia likes it when I've got some clothes off.
Okay, we're going in. Oh, I guess
Okay,
he wants
so
to
you
go on
don't-
this side.
Yeah. When is it come in straight and put both of his feet on?
Right.
Yay!
Yes! Good job, buddy.
I think he's anticipating having to rotate.
All right, I have no more juice.
You want to try it?
Yeah. Pick this up.
And is the criteria now it has to be both feet? It can't just be cozy.
I would start with just 1 foot with you because he hasn't worked with you on it just yet. And then, you never know. I mean, if he does it like 4 times in a row, then raise your criteria. So one of the major mistakes that people make is that they raise the criteria too high, too fast. So we already talked about that being the cause of frustration. But it's also a big problem to stay too long at one level. And this is actually a problem that we have at our shelter. We don't move forward enough. I think we are quite cautious. So a dog like Julio can also become frustrated if we stay on one level for way too long. So
I think that was good.
yeah. So like once he's got 2 paws on, let's just pretend, because normally we would go near this quick. Once he's got 2 paws on, then we're gonna teach him to rotate. And as I've been reading a lot about targeting and hindquarter awareness, I've learned that it's really important that if you go one way, you also have to do another way so you don't get a muscular. So even though I trying to give him 1, he's trying to steal my entire handful. Even though we train dogs to do this, yes, just one paw. He's trying to steal all of that. Okay. Even though I want just his right side, yes, for a rabies vaccine, I would also train the left side. He was really so big.
Are you waiting for both paws?
Yeah. And he's also coming over to the side.
Probably didn't help that I rewarded him for having.
And all you have to do is reward him one time, and then he's like, yes! And then he gets kind of messed up. Okay, well, this is something we can continue working on with him. I'll fix it, and I'll post the video. Okay. He's going really great. To me, I'm very happy so far with this performance. So, the next thing is, we're going to talk about targeting the rear feet, and then hopefully we'll get a send up. So this is totally new. What a good boy. He's like, look, I finally did it. He's also demonstrating his facial expression. So I've got my handful of treats. This is my target, so my goal is, okay, great. Oh, this is gonna be super. Okay, so my goal is to get him to touch this target with at least 1 foot. So I'm gonna get him to come around this way. I want you guys to be able to see. Okay, I think I'm gonna get him to come around this way, so from my right to my left. And as his feet touch the target, then I'll yes him. And I'm putting this here because he's got no choice. He's got to walk over it because of the kennel. And also, I kind of want you to see him pass this way so you can see sideways when he contacts with his feet. Let's see how this goes. Oh, of course. Okay. Here we go. This is the hard part. Yes. Good job. And then I'm going to feed and feed. Yes. Good job. So I want this to be the discriminative stimulus for the treats. Like, this is the thing that predicts the treats. Okay. Yes. Oh, nice. Oh, just 1 foot though. That's okay. Yes. Good job. Very nice. So that right foot is so awkward. Can you see that? Yeah, good job. I think he's understanding it. Yeah. Good job. Okay. That's good. Okay, so let's pretend that I do this 1,000,000 times. So this is the 1,000,000th time. Yes. Oh, nice. He's doing it.
Same position.
Okay, so I'm going to keep feeding. Oops. Yeah. Oh, no. Oh, no. Let's try again.
I know she knows that that was a great idea because it's such a unique type
Yes.
of
Exactly. I ask people for their old yoga mats for training.
There you go. My yoga mat has turned into a stretching post.
Very good. Okay, so now I'm going to try to lure him off. Okay, good. And I'm going to reward him when his foot goes back. Yes. See that?
Never thought to do that.
Let's see. Yes. Good job. Yeah. Yes. Oh no. So that's the next step, right? It's like usually you would do this after, a long time.
What's up, Buzz?
Yes. He's like, You're not gonna trick me. Look at that. That's good. Okay, let's see. Oh, it's a bad positioning. I want to get him to do it a bit better before I let you guys
He
try.
doesn't want to move.
Okay. Yeah, I'll be put stuck there. Well, that's just shows you how intelligent he is.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, that's okay. I'll give you one for that one foot. Yes. Oh, it's such a small mat. It's like each of his steps is so big. So I have a really great video about this. So I'll post it because this is, yes, definitely something that takes time. Yes, especially for a dog who hasn't done it. Good. Good job. Let's see. Let's see what he do it. Yes. Good job. Get dizzy. Yes. Oh. Yes. It's like one of his steps is so much bigger than the width of this thing. Okay. You want to try it? I'll let you guys try it. You have to make sure not to use it all. So like I said, this is a really, I was feeding him with my left hand. And it's good that you ask because it often does matter, you know, and it's something that we have to teach the dogs to express any change. So like I said, this is an excellent exercise for situations where you want the dog to move away from something that could be a trigger, like, or dogs who just get excited and they have to learn to move away from something to get what they want. This is something I use with Gus probably more than with any other dog. Oh, wait, maybe he'll go back. Oh, never mind. So unfortunately, I don't think we can get the whole thing today. I would be happy to just keep training this forever, but I can't because I have to go somewhere after this. Yay! But I will definitely continue this with Julio because I tried shaping the behavior with Julio and it was pretty challenging. So, and I don't want to, like what a lot of people do is they use kind of molding where they kind of get into the animal space. And that's how I trained Gus. Like I would kind of move towards him. And then if he just kind of took a step back, then I rewarded that. And we just don't train that way anymore because that's the reason that that's like the reason that they're moving away. Yeah, because they're uncomfortable. And like we might use that technique in a very benign way. Like Alexandra Curlin has this awesome technique called shaping on a point of contact, which is about using negative reinforcement in a very benign way. But I think that we don't have to do that with most dogs because we can train them this way, and we don't have to train them using negative reinforcement. For us at Friends for Life, we'll only use negative reinforcement if there's no there's the other options that are higher up in the humane hierarchy. You might try feeding him lower, like
Lower.
Yeah, because that'll keep his butt up.
Oh yes.
You know, if we can use this, which is higher up in the humane hierarchy, then we don't want to use negative reinforcement.
Oh, I got dizzy.
Oh, you know what? Just because we can just finish this and do this another time, I'll save this for him in the other room. I think this is a really cool exercise for him because he does kind of get in your space a lot, right? So we would love to just be able to say back up.
Good job.
Like I to Gus, I say back up, and I go like this with my hands.
I mean, I think that would help. I mean, maybe even like, well, I don't know. Let's say like if we're approaching his friend does, and we have him on leash, do you think back up he would still back
Oh
up?
yeah. I mean, it's just a point of generalization.
And pick up now.
Oh, he does not like this mask. All right, so I'm gonna show you one other thing. So the last thing is just because Diane asked about why, and he's been dying to use this. Why we teach stick targeting. So I talked to you guys a little bit about mouthy dogs, but Julio's not a mouthy dog anymore most of the time. So why would I use a stick target for Julio?
If he is too uncomfortable with the closeness of your body or
Right.
the fact that you're using your hand, like he might need to get used to the space or the lack of space rather.
Yeah.
Or even the touch to begin with.
Like there's this trainer, I can't remember what her name is, Eileen something from Eileen's Dog. I love Eileen's Dog's videos, but she talks about how she messed up targeting with her dog because her dog did not like touching, like doesn't like touching, especially when she's being trained. And so she didn't have any trouble with a stick target, but she was trying to teach hand targeting and she was getting very weak targets. So she just thought, she didn't think anything of it. She just thought, oh, it's a training problem, and she just tried to train stronger targets. But she later realized that the reason was because her dog just naturally doesn't like that contact. And I can't remember her name now. There's another really prominent trainer. She's the one who has that really great matching to sample video. But she does not do nose targeting at all because she feels like it's not good for dogs because the dogs can't. So nose targeting came from having sea lions touch hands for safety purposes so that they would not bite somebody like who handled them in the back. So they would have them like do long duration nose targets, and sea lions can close their nostrils, but dogs can't. So like if they were directly targeting your hand with their nose, that could be uncomfortable for them. Not to mention that their noses are very sensitive. But like as I thought about that because I do nose targeting, and I'm still thinking about it because my dogs when they target, they're targeting me with their it's not with their nose.
The lips.
Yeah, like with their lips, and it's not. I don't know. It doesn't strike me. Oh my god, what's she doing that? That scared you?
No, he's excited.
Yeah, I feel like with dogs, I don't think that we would ever be targeting so long that they're like struggling to breathe. But I do.
But they do. Like they teach that duration, right?
Yeah.
We don't do it.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway. So that's why some folks really rely on stick targeting. So they would have the dog follow, look at him, he's ready to go. I don't have any more treats.
I have stuff.
Okay, so I'll yes and then you do it. So for example, if we wanted to teach like a Olivia, yes. Then here. Go to Olivia. That means to train that. Go to that person. And it would be easier to fade this lure. Yes, good job. There, here's the other day. It would be easier to fade this lure than it would be to fade the tree lure. Because the dog is like smelling it, and that's the most salient thing. But this thing doesn't have much of a smell.
Oh, sorry.
The other reason I would do it is if it's something that I couldn't really reach, like if I wanted him to do something, like for example, I wanted him to be able to run next to me and jump over a hurdle for a photo shoot. And so I had him target this to go over the hurdle, right? So like I would have him running on my left side and I would tell him I would have him follow the target over the hurdle like he jumped over. That's how we got some of our gala photos one year. Or like I could even with the door open. I can have him like shut the door and then we'll do it. He's like, I don't know, you haven't had me touch. Yes, good job. This is how I taught my dogs to close the door. He's like, no. Yes, good job. Oh, yes. Hi.
Yes.
I mean, do we really want him jumping on the door and moving it? But that's how I taught my dogs to close the door. Oh, I also taught them to get the light switch by pointing my targets to get the light switch. And they could like get the lights that way. So yeah, it's really helpful, I think. I mean, obviously we don't want him to learn too much about the doors, I guess. Because the next thing you know, he'll be opening the door and running away. 100%. All right. So I think that, you know, it'd be super if you guys tried targeting experiments, because you can do so much with targeting. And you can teach the dog about their bodies, which is actually really cool, because, you know, a lot of, like I said, a lot of dogs don't know what's going on back here. You know, they just, he's itchy. A lot of dogs don't know what's going on. Like, you can teach them to give their back paw with targeting, right? Like, you can teach them hindquarter awareness with just their back paws, but then you can teach with the individual back paws. So let's say, like with this thing, if I had him target this and I made it into and then eventually like a smaller target, and then I can divide it in half and then start splitting up the halves, so I'll get one foot each. And then once he knows how to put 1 foot up, then I can have him give 1 foot to me. So, I mean, it's really cool. It's good for their bodily health to be able to do that, because you can work them out, like you can isolate their muscles. And if you're doing dog sports, that's something you want. You might have an older dog who wants to build up their hindquarter muscles. Maybe they're not getting as much exercise, and maybe they're a bit arthritic, and you want to build the muscles, or maybe they have dysplasia, and you want to build the muscles on their hindquarters, but you don't want them to jump. This hindquarter awareness will build those muscles without them having to jump. So it's like low impact exercise.
Like my dog with her recovery from surgery.
Yeah, you could definitely use exercises like that for your dog that's recovering. So, I mean, we don't often think about these things, especially, you know, when you're hiring a dog trainer, you're not expecting them to do these things, but these are things that we can do with training. I used targeting to teach. We had a cat who was having trouble standing up, and I used targeting to teach him to like do push-ups, so he would be able to stand up and walk around. So that's it for targeting. I wanted to do a talk about it just because I felt like, even though we kind of know, like everybody knows what targeting is, but we don't really make use of all the different applications of targeting. So anyway, somebody chatted. Sorry, it wasn't. Oh my God. See, this is where I would say back up. That's definitely something that we're going to work on. I can tell he does not like this mask. Yeah, I know. I don't want that.
Yeah, he ripped off my mask the other day and ran around with it like it was a toy, shaking it around with his head. So
he is trying to grab the elastics.
Yeah, he took it off. He took it off of me the other day.
Oh no, that's no good. He tried to kill us all. Oh, he's so itchy.
Yeah, he's scratching his rash.
Yeah, he's got a rash. All right, guys. Well, I'm still taking requests. So if you want me to talk about anything, I'm so happy to talk about it. And I guess I'll see you guys at the shelter. All of you guys always.
Yep.
All right. Bye.
There Friday. Bye bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Possibly